Hey, this is Mr. Ward, and I'm going to do another video for the 2000, I think this is 2019 MCAS. And um, let's see, let's talk about number 4. What value of W makes this equation true? So there are a couple ways to deal with this problem. One is to solve for W, and the other is to just grab these values and plug them in for W. I'm going to start by trying solving for W. I'm going to move this down. Maybe they'll move that thing out of the way. Get rid of that. There we go. And maybe I can move this up. There. All right, so we've got 2/3 times W plus 3. Okay, and that equals 7. All right, so let's start off by getting rid of this times 2/3. I have two choices. I could multiply in the 2/3, or I could just get rid of the 2/3 by multiplying both sides by its reciprocal. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply both sides by 3/2. So this will be times 3/2. 3/2 times 2/3 is, of course, just 1. And so that becomes 1. And we can drop all of this. Okay. 7 times 3/2 is going to be 21 over 2, which is going to be 10.5. 21 over 2 is 10.5. Or 10 and 1/2 if you prefer. Now I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. So 3 minus 3 and 10.5 minus 3. And over on the left, I'm just left with W. On the right, I'll be left with 7.5 or 7.5. So this over here is just 7.5 or 7 and 1/2. All right, that's one way to deal with it. Another way to deal with it is this. 2/3 times W plus 3 equals 7. And I could just distribute the 2/3 times the W and the 2/3 times the 3. And 2/3 of 3 is just 2. And so now I've got 2/3 W plus 2. Subtract 2 from both sides. And that becomes 5. This becomes just 2/3 W. Now I'll multiply both sides by 3/2. Okay, so that'll be times 3 over 2. And that'll be times 3 over 2. And over here, the 2/3 times 3 over 2 is just 1. So that leaves the W all by itself. And 5 times 3/2 is 1.5 5. So we'll be adding 2.5 to 5. And that is 7.5. And again, we end up with 7.5. Right there is our answer. Now we're going to take a look at number 9. Number 9 here says a fruit stand sells apples, oranges, and bananas, and the cost of one apple is 50 cents. The cost of one orange is 60 cents. And they haven't mentioned the price of oranges, and that implies to me that we're going to be trying to find out. When we told, let me back up that. We've been told the price of apples and the price of oranges, but not bananas. So I imply that we're going to be trying to find the cost of bananas. And in fact, that is what we're trying to find, the cost of one banana. What is the cost of one banana at the fruit stand? Okay, so we know that Ronald bought 4 apples and 1 banana. I've reflected that here in this little equation. 4 apples plus 1 banana. And we've also been told that Madison, okay, and I'm just going to do this for a second. Madison brought 2 oranges and 3 bananas. And the total cost of the fruit Ronald bought was the same as the total cost that Madison bought, so that's why I have these equaling each other. So I'm going to say this equals this. Now, I'm going to look at the information I've been given. I've been told what an apple costs. So instead of A, I can say 0.50. And instead of, B, I need to know. But instead of O for oranges, I can replace that with 0.60. And Once again, we don't know bananas, but that's okay. We're going to be able to solve for B in this now that we know all this information. So let's start simplifying. 4 times 0.5 is going to be 2. So 2 plus 1b equals, and then 2 times 0.16 is 0.6. 2 times 0.6 is 1.2. So that's plus 3b. All right, now we need to get the variables on one side and the values on the other side. So I'm going to subtract 1b from both sides. Okay, and that'll be 2. 1b minus 1b will be nothing. And then 1.2, okay, plus 2b, now that I've subtracted 1b from both sides. And now I'm going to subtract 1.2 from both sides. And 2 minus 1.2 is 0.8. And that equals 2b. Now I'll divide both sides by 2. That divided by 2. That divided by 2. And so now b is equal 0.4 will equal B. So bananas are $0.4 or 40 cents. So that's $0.4 for bananas. And that answer is B right here, 40 cents. And there are other approaches one might use, but that's the one I did. So let's pause and see if there are any more problems of this sort. And it turns out there weren't any more in this one, so I will stop. And my next video I will make about the graphing problem.